In today's tutorial, we're going to build an AI bot that can scrape the web and use that data as a knowledge base. We will also demonstrate how to utilize Qdrant as our database, where we'll store the scraped data for future use. Starting on the Flowise dashboard, let's begin by creating a new flow. First, we'll add a conversational retrieval QA chain node, a chat OpenAI node, and a buffer memory node. As usual, in the Chat OpenAI node, we'll enter our API key. Then, connect both the Chat OpenAI node and buffer memory to the initial node. This setup will allow our bot to handle user queries while retaining context through the buffer memory. Now, we need to integrate a database to store our scraped data. For this, we're going to use Qdrant. In the menu under the Vector Stores category, select Qdrant node and add it to the flow. To enable embeddings for our Qdrant database, we need to connect an embedding model. Under the Embeddings category, select OpenAI Embeddings, enter your API key, and link it to the Qdrant node. Finally, connect the Qdrant node back to the initial conversational node. At this point, we need to configure Qdrant with the necessary credentials. For this example, since we are using Qdrant through Qubinets, we don't need an API key. However, we still need to add a key placeholder, so go to Add New, name the key, leave the field for the key itself blank, and save it. Once saved, mark this as the key you will be using. Next, we'll set the Qdrant server URL. To find this, go to your Qubinets dashboard and locate your Qdrant node. Click on the 3 horizontal lines for extra options and select the button to open the Qdrant page. Copy the link from the address bar, ensuring you have the correct portion, and paste it into the server URL field in Flowise. Now, we need to define a Qdrant collection name. This name will be how our data is stored in the database. It's crucial to pick a unique name to avoid conflicts, especially if you plan on using this database in future projects. For this example, let's name it Flowise Web Docs. With that, our database is now set up and ready to use. Next, we'll set up a web scraper within Flowise to extract data from any website and store it in our Qdrant database. Under the Document Loaders category, select Cheerio Web Scraper and add it to your flow. We also need a text splitter to break down the content into manageable chunks, so go to the Text Splitters category and add the HTML to Markdown text splitter node. Connect this to the Cheerio node. In the text splitter, set the chunk size to something like 3000, with the overlap set to 200. Now we're ready to input a link into the Cheerio web scraper. Click on Manage Links and add the URL you want to scrape. For this example, let's use the Flowise AI documentation page. After adding the link, click Fetch Links. The scraper will take a few seconds to process, and you'll see it has found additional related links. In our case, it discovered 10 subpages automatically. If necessary, you can adjust the additional parameters to fetch more or fewer links, but for this example, 10 will suffice. Once everything looks good, click Save. Now that our scraper is set up, let's save the project under the name Flowise AI Docs. To start processing the scraped data, click the green button next to the chat window to open the menu and initiate the upsert process. This action will upload the scraped content into our Qdrant database. Depending on the size of the website and the number of links, this process may take a few seconds to a minute. Once complete, you can go back to your Qdrant dashboard to confirm that the data has been successfully stored. With the database populated, it's time to test our bot. Try sending a simple query like, "What is Flowise?" Instead of generating a generic response, the bot will now pull information directly from the newly created database, providing a much more accurate and precise answer based on the stored content. An important point to note here is that our data is now permanently stored in the Qdrant database. This means that even if the server restarts, the data remains intact. You can reuse this database in any other flow within FlowIce without needing to scrape the web again. This makes your data management more efficient and reliable, allowing you to build more powerful AI models with consistent access to the latest information. And that's it. We've successfully built a system where our bot can scrape data, store it in a Qdrant database, and use that data for accurate, context-driven responses. This setup is not only efficient but also scalable, letting you build on it as your needs grow. Happy exploring, and I hope this helps you take your FlowIce projects to the next level.